Welcome back to the Bishop Fox live stream here at DEF CON 31. My name is Aleth Dennis, and I am on the red team at Bishop Fox as a senior security consultant. Today I have with me Barrett Darnell, principal security engineer at Intuit, Savannah Lazara, OSCP, technical manager, attack and penetration at Optiv Inc., and Wesley Thurner, principal security engineer at Intuit. Welcome. Thanks so much for joining us to talk about red teaming today.
Thanks for having us.
So thank you again for making time out of your afternoon to come join us. We are excited to have a few leadership members of the Red Team Village join us today and talk about the Red Team Village this weekend. Red teaming is a really fascinating subfield of offensive security with lots of unique facets. And I'd like to know how each of you define red teaming, because I feel like there's a lot of gray area when we talk to clients between what is a pen test, what is red teaming.
I definitely think there's a lot of misnomers out there, and people have very strong opinions about what constitutes red teaming, especially when you think about blue versus red, offense versus defense. Anybody who's doing offensive work, I'd say that they're in that red team capacity. There are a few things that I think stand out when you think about an internal red team. Folks, they work with, for the company, with the company, instead of having that outside perspective. They got a little bit of insight into the processes that the company is utilizing, and they're definitely looking at it from the perspective of trying to have a holistic view of the organization in order to make some security policy change. So rather than fixing one vuln, making it so that there's a mitigation applied where you don't have to worry about that vuln across your entire enterprise.
Yeah, that's fantastic. What inspired you to start Red Team Village?
Is that for me?
Yeah.
So we actually we're not the original founders. There's someone named Omar Santos who is the founder of Red Team Village, and he brought me in as a volunteer in 2019, and then in 2019 I just kind of always stuck with it. But I mean, we all love it because it's being able to give back to the community. Everybody starts somewhere, and being able to provide that knowledge at depth at like DEF CON, at other events, because we do events even outside of DEF CON, but providing that knowledge at a wide scale.
Fantastic. And I heard that you have a Capture the Flag competition. Did that start today?
Yes, it did. So super excited about this. A little different. Typical thing is qualifying round and then finals round. It's a typical setup like we've had in the past, but this one was real special because of IPSEC. A lot of people are familiar with him, but essentially he built our entire finals. Like I'd like to say, like we put a touch on it maybe, but like he built everything.
That's awesome.
But the amazing part of it is it's essentially a Hack the Box Pro Lab, and you'll be able to get a preview of that in the finals round, and then in a few months you'll be able to see that release. So just like what we did last year, but kind of trying to
take it up to the next level. Yeah, that's awesome. So Trevin Edgeworth, who is our practice director for Red Team at Bishop Fox, he's been known to say that red teamers are unicorns among unicorns. Are there any particular sets of skills that you each possess that you see as kind of your unicorn contribution to red teaming?
I think definitely, like my whole career, I've always viewed myself as a technical leader, and so in terms of that unicorn, someone who's very technical, but then can also manage things, organize things, and lead. For Wes and I, we really come at it from a team perspective. And so being able to know your team and to mix and match those skill sets is something that we bring to the table as leaders.
Yeah, that's a great point, because it is a little bit like Ocean's 11. You're putting together the perfect team, but everybody's got that, one or three things that they're really excellent at.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So with new technology tools and things coming out all the time, is there anything that you see right now being a focus with red teaming?
I see definitely cloud. I mean, anyone who's watching will definitely agree with me as well. Bishop Fox, you guys are releasing tons of cloud tools to be able to leverage on engagement, which is excellent. And I've actually used some of them like Cloud Fox, and I think it's amazing. I mean, Cloud Enum. There's so many different
appreciate it.
There's a lot of cloud tools, but that's definitely where I've been focusing lately. I've done a lot of cloud training, AWS, Azure, because it's just going to be like how everyone needs to know. Active Directory, that's going to be the next. Like, you need to know this if you want to go in offensive security.
Yeah, absolutely agree. I think that area is desperate for more skills. As far as skills and the advancement of red teaming, you can't not have the AI question. So do you see any nexus between AI and red teaming where possibly we could have things that are automated to help us without taking away from that red team feel, that really organic, attack emulation?
So I definitely think there is some overlap, and I think if you kind of zoom out a little bit and just think of like the search engine, right? Just enabling that person able to find vulns, search things really easy. Just applying that same thing with the AI, right? Just that ability to research, provide those kind of results. Definitely dig in and analyze things that we can't do at that scale. So I think it's a lot of, for surfacing a lot of that data, right? That very important data that we want to then pull in and investigate further. So I think it just helps, as a force multiplier for a red team member, just utilizing, various models, pulling all that data to then be able to focus on what truly matters.
Right, just kind of filter out some of the noise and do a lot of that task-oriented work that we all dread.
Oh, and speaking of task-oriented work, one easy way to cheat, as long as you're very careful not to disclose any sensitive information into an LLM that you don't control, like just getting report templates, right? I need to report this kind of vuln, and just having that kind of.
Oh, yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Because no one likes report writing.
Nobody likes report
although
writing.
It's the most important thing. And so definitely using the LLMs to help out with that.
Yeah, that's a good segue into what you have as any report writing tips for folks, because I know a lot of folks get into offensive security because they want to pwn all the things, but then we all discover that it's like 80% communication and reporting is a huge part of that.
I would just say knowing your audience. There's a multitude of different products, right? Whether it's a briefing or even just reports at different levels or just JIRA tickets. Right? Just recognizing your audience and then just making sure that you're tailoring it for that level.
Yep.
I think on top of that too, whenever you're doing any type of like machines, like hack the box or whatnot, like writing how you went through it and then kind of having somebody else review it, say like, do you think this is a good approach of how I explained it in this blog?
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, because sometimes I think we get a little too comfortable with a lot of the ways that we describe things, or this is a basic process, but especially in things like executive summaries, it's really important to try to make things accessible to a wide audience. As internal red teamers, how do you feel that differs from what most Bishop Fox consultants do, working on a variety of different types of projects with different types of clients? What's it like to work internally for one client?
Oh yeah, I just foot stomp on what Barrett was saying earlier in regards to scale, doing things at scale. Even as a red teamer, you can do something awesome, find some vuln, do something, but you don't want to fix one problem. You got to fix it at scale. And I think that's like the biggest thing is, sometimes with bug bounty researchers, we kind of get a nugget of, hey, maybe, here's an issue with this, and kind of pushing it out at scale, addressing those. And then one of the biggest things is because you're there for a long period of time, you can push on that initiative internally, work out, reach with the developers, and then just continue pushing on that until that, that entire issue is fixed at scale. But turn it back over.
Yeah, and for us, you kind of emphasize one company, but our company is fairly large, a lot of subsidiaries, and so a little bit of different flavor when we look at the subsidiaries, and then it doesn't get boring in any way because for Wes and I, we've done a number of campaigns. We're going on maybe 2 years now, and we've never done the same thing twice. It's always a new technology,
That's
new
cool.
focus. So that's fun. I think that relates a lot to what Bishop Fox sees. You'd have no idea what the client's going to look like until you start testing.
Yeah, you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think that's part of the fun, but also definitely part of the misery when you're like, oh no, I wasn't prepared for this at all. So kind of speaking about being prepared, how do you stay up to date on new types of threats and emulating attackers in a way that's meaningful to clients and to your internal teams?
I think for our industry, Twitter is where things get posted instantly. I mean, just being in the know, being part of like servers on Discord to try to get new information, and definitely Twitter, because as soon as something drops, that's where everyone's going to share it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think we have to call it X now.
Yeah,
but
that is true. I am so sorry.
I know. I think we'll get sued if we don't. So yeah, no, I am a huge and firm believer in paying attention to feeds like X, where I think a lot of us go first to learn about new exploits and new vulnerabilities and things that are being talked about in the community. There are several other places, but I don't think they have quite the activity engagement from the community. So that's an excellent point. Collaboration and coordination with organizations' red teams, that's essential as a part of driving security programs forward. What would be your advice to those of us in the offensive security industry with how we can work better with defenders to enhance security programs and create change within organizations?
So I teach red teaming, I teach a lot of offensive security, and the thing that I really overemphasize for folks is that, you might have a little bit of a fun rivalry, but as a red teamer, your one job is to make the blue team better, is to help them get better. And I always say that they have a much harder job.
Absolutely.
They're worried about all the vulnerabilities. I only have to be concerned about one.
Right.
And so one thing that we do quite a bit is we always have an olive branch extended. It's never a ha-ha, you got pwned,
Right.
but a here's what we did, how did we fix it? And a true testament to always trying to build that collaborative environment is that the directors on the other side, they love our reports. They love hearing the crazy things that we do. It's, that no one gets mad, no one's getting in trouble, and we just all work together to build it. But it takes time to build those relationships.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And I think that's an excellent point to call out, is that collaboration and transparency without making the other teams feel badly or creating that adversarial or contentious relationship is so important. And I think we find that too with consulting in general, because our clients are much less likely to want to listen to us if we are jerks.
Yeah. Oh, and another thing to add to that, another thing, like kind of a tip for pen testers, is usually the organization you're testing, their security side, they don't have enough folks, they don't have enough headcount, they don't have enough budget, and starting with, hey, what is it that you've been telling leadership that you need that you just haven't gotten funded? Let's focus on that. We can make that recommendation in the report and possibly help you out. Now they're your best friend.
Yeah, absolutely. I end a lot of kickoff calls with, please let me be your anger translator.
Yes.
Tell me what you want me to look at so that we can help you get the tools that you need, the security budget that you need, and more resources, because I think so many of our blue teams are absolutely starved for talent. Because,
I would definitely agree with that. And I would say some of the best campaign ideas, they come from those tips.
Yeah, absolutely. Because they're like, hey, there's this one thing. Sort of like if I do a physical and they're like, so there are, man traps, but there's also this very short wall. I'm like, okay, I'm listening. But yeah, so as far as the Red Team Village goes, what are your initiatives this DEF CON? What are you looking to kind of take to the next level, aside from what we talked about with the CTF?
I think this year, so we did integrate some artificial intelligence workshops into all the workshops we do have. Just making sure we have the hands-on workshops. That's one of the most important things for us. And then the CTF to kind of take on that hands-on skills and then transferring it to being able to gamify it and have people go through kind of a real-world scenario.
Yeah, that's great. And where can people find the Red Team Village during DEF CON?
So it's in the Flamingo, in the Twilight Room, and then the CTF is in Caesars Forum. So that's kind of where you can go, but make sure to get in line early because you might want to get a spot.
I have heard that the lines are absolute chaos over at the forum, so definitely recommend getting there early. And then, is there anything else with regards to Red Team Village and how people can get involved with volunteering if they want to contribute to the community? You said you had other events that were outside of DEF CON that potentially people could get access to and to help with.
I'll just say one of the biggest things that we have is, we try to tailor to everyone of a lot of entry level all the way to the experts. So we have a wide variety of workshops, things like that. So we're always trying to get everyone to come in. Same thing with volunteers, right? We want brand new people in InfoSec all the way out to those seasoned veterans. So we want everyone to come out. We have a lot of volunteer opportunities. Just reach out to us on Discord. as well as with the CTF, we're always looking for challenge creators, things like that. But definitely reach out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if I can add on that, especially, we talk a lot about imposter syndrome. Almost every organization out there will gladly accept a helping hand.
Yeah.
Right? All the organizations, I mean, we're spread real thin. We're doing a lot of stuff. When volunteers want to step up and help out, like usually that's with open arms. And that's just a great way to really integrate with that community and to help out and then belong. And now that's your village. That's where you go.
Yeah, and I would say it's an excellent opportunity to network with people that may just turn out being the conduit to your next job.
Absolutely.
So in that, line of things, is there any opportunity that you've had in the past that came out of a networking opportunity with folks in the industry, or anything personal experience-wise that may inspire those that are trying to get into cybersecurity and specifically offensive security?
I guess for me, in 2019, when I volunteered with Omar, that was kind of like the start
Yeah.
of Red Team Village. I mean, if I never did that, I would have never been involved with Red Team Village. Because I spent my entire weekend at Red Team Village, because what we run into when we have this, like volunteers don't show up,
Yeah.
We lose people, so we have to kind of bring in a lot of people. But with Omar, that station that he was at, literally nobody came. So I just stayed with him the entire time, but we built a relationship while I was there. We always kind of stayed in touch, and I always did more events with Omar, and that was kind of what led up to where I am now with networking and doing stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I know Bishop Fox has really enjoyed being a sponsor of the Red Team Village, and we love supporting that effort because, of course, I think our consultancy definitely benefits from the opportunity to enhance the skills of those who are looking to learn more in offensive security and get into this industry. Are there any particular red teaming skills that you see as being most important for those who are, either trying to transfer skills into offensive security, or those who are seeking to gain education and then move into this industry when they join the workforce?
The one thing that we talked about earlier today is just having that persistence, because there's a lot to learn. You're never going to know everything, and you have to carve out that time to continue to improve yourself. I know it can get daunting, but nowadays there are a million resources out there. There's 1,000 guides on how to get into InfoSec, but it takes persistence in order to actually achieve that. It's not something that you walk into or fall into. And I would say that just that tenacity and failing at something, right? As pen testers, right? We fail 1,000 times until we get that one success.
Right.
But you have to keep going in order to get to that success.
Yeah, that's a great point. I know, because I'll go home and there's no clocking out when you're on an engagement. Your brain is just spinning, how am I going to get through this blocker? So yeah, that's an excellent point. I think soft skills are very underrated, especially in technical fields. So yeah, I would absolutely agree with that. Just having the consistent drive to learn, being open to learning new techniques, and being able to listen to your teammates and collaborate effectively, I would say is another thing that's just huge. So wrapping up, I wanted to say thank you again to all three of you for joining us. Is there anything else that you would like to share with our audience about what you have going on this weekend with Red Team Village, or where people can reach out to you to learn more about how to volunteer, as well as send questions your way if they want to look for mentoring of any type?
I think making sure, definitely stopping by Red Team Village. We'd love to see you. We have lots of swag to give out and tons of workshops for everyone to kind of come join and see. We also have the CTF, as Barrett mentioned, so we'll be doing the quals and the finals. And Barrett, I'll pass it back over to you to see if there's anything else you want to mention too.
Just make the most of the time when you're here. This event for us is always a thing that we can't move off the calendar, because this is the reunion, right?
Yeah.
This is where I see all the foxes that I
just
work
got
with.
goosebumps. Yes.
This is where I see all of my friends, right? No matter where they are in the world, we come here this week to meet up again. And so, I always have, every conference I go to, I have to make a new friend. That's my rule. And so go out, meet people. You'll be surprised if you're in LineCon for hours. Just talk to the people in front of you, behind you. You'll make a friend that you'll tap later on for help on an engagement or a job or things like that.
Yeah, that's so true. I just thought of a friend that I randomly bumped into in a hallway that was like, aren't you? And I was like, yes, I'm me. And they became essentially my best friend in the universe. And that was just a coincidental hallway meeting. So it's absolutely one of those things that you can't really replicate, that organic meeting of people in real life. So I'm very happy that we're all back here together. So Barrett, Savannah, Wesley, thank you again so much for joining us on the live stream this afternoon. And I wish you every success. I will be in the Capture the Flag in the contest area tomorrow afternoon volunteering. So I encourage folks to come by. Thank you again for joining our Bishop Fox live stream to talk about red teaming with the Red Team Village. And we'll see you again shortly.